Guys, do you know your personality type? I do. And what's your personality type? Probably we have this idea of four letters and Myers-Briggs personality type, because this is the most famous one and lots of people know and use it, even though this method is 80 years old now, but it's still widely used. Of course, there are some others like Big Five, DISC, MMPI, etc. But 16 types of personality, it's like by far most popular and most famous one. And even though it's so old, it's based even on an older method that was invented by Carl Gustav Jung. So it's his invention, extroversion versus introversion. It's his invention, intuition and sensor. It's his invention, feeling versus thinking type. Actually, Myers-Briggs, it was like mother and daughter, and two wonderful ladies who, with their interest in psychology, they decided to go further and to create a questionnaire that would help to define your personality type. Even though Carl Gustav Jung himself, he was not in favor of dividing people into types and, putting them in those boxes, but we do love, dividing ourselves and putting ourselves into boxes, especially other people into boxes, because it makes the life around us easier, clearer. So, and how many boxes are? Of course, there are 16 boxes because there are four dichotomies, and 4 by 4 equals 16. And so that's why this method has been criticized a lot by specialists, because they say it's kind of oversimplification of a picture. It's much more diverse. We are much more than just 16 types. From the other side, this method has been criticized for low accuracy. Why the accuracy is low, and how to define the type? What's the best way to do it? So myself, I've been working as an assessor for many years, and I just love this 16 types of personality. And one direction of this, it was like a later direction. It is called socionics, and it's also criticized for some other things, but I do think that this is something that really works. In socionics, you define those 16 types of personality in a special order, in a special way. So you need to have at least two assessors. Each of them they have different types. So one is a thinking person and another is a feeling type. So this is minimum, and an interview in a form of course, it's offline. It's always offline, and this interview lasts almost 1 hour. It can last more, but minimum of 1 hour. So this is a method that helps you with high accuracy to define a person's type. So this is not for everyone, and of course we want, as of today, we want everything faster and simpler, and that's why there are lots of online tests, but unfortunately they are misleading. Even this basic main MBTI personality type test, it has some, uh, like false results. And but why it returns false results? For example, I've passed so many tests and never I got my true results that I know my type. It always gives me, for example, extroversion instead of introversion. So I'm introvert. I know it, I understand myself, and I perceive myself as an introvert. And it returns me extroversion. Why? Because of the questions. They are kind of socially desirable questions, some of them, and you cannot avoid it. Because the difference between introversion and extroversion is kind of subtle. So if you see someone who you think he likes talking to other people, he likes socializing, he's smiling, he's nice, it doesn't mean that this person is an introvert or extrovert. It doesn't mean. It's like it's deeper. This difference is much, much deeper. So it's whether a person finds energy and relies upon his inner self or like outer self. Yes. So um, just to understand the real difference between an introvert and extrovert, I will give you a very simple example. Imagine yourself like going along the street and trying to find a building. So this building where like your next meeting will take place or like an important conference. So you have two options. Either you're going to find this building yourself by, for example, you have a map, yeah, or you can ask someone who is passing by, who is presumably he lives in this area and he knows. So what would you prefer? When this difference between those two options is not significant, so let's say the difference is like 1 minute of your time. If you ask someone who is passing by, probably you can find this place like faster, 1 minute faster. If you don't ask, you just try yourself, maybe you will lose 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes, yeah, maybe 1 minute. So what would you prefer? I would definitely prefer trying to find it myself because I would prefer to avoid excessive contact. Situation is not that important for me, so I would try to avoid this excessive contact with other people because I'm an introvert. So you see, this is subtle. And Myers-Briggs, it doesn't ask you questions like that, exactly question. It has different questions, and it's more about whether you like communicating with other people or even, question when you are super, super tired and whether you would prefer to go out or you would prefer to stay home. It also doesn't describe everything because like if you're a young person and it's like socially desirable that you go out and you don't stay, let's say Friday evening at home, you would go out even if you are an introvert. So it's not actually something that really defines. But this example that I gave you before, when the difference is subtle, this is something which defines because it relies on your basic structure. So what's your basic first reaction? Whether it's reaction of introversy or extroversy. So this is how it works. I just gave you one example, but in the following videos, I would like to go with you through all four dichotomies so that you understand your real type and you can evaluate yourself, you can evaluate your strong sides, weak sides. It will help you, it will help you with so many different spheres. If I can only feel and think, like finding the best role for you, finding the right role in a team, at work, even in your family. So finding a compatible partner, understanding your partner better, and understanding your friends, your relatives, and more importantly, your children. Your children. So this helped me so much to understand what personality type is my son. And actually, you would not give a personality type test to someone who's like 5 years old. But those four dichotomies, they will help you to define who is your kid, who exactly, what personality type is your kid. So by all this, I think I would inspire you to follow me, to sign up for my channel, and to watch other videos and to define your personality type so that you can use this information in your life. It will help you a lot. And if you have any questions, feel free to post your comments down of this video.